Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. So for this video, I want to talk about some of my favorite scrapbooking supplies. So basically, these are my go-to scrapbooking supplies. So let's just get into it. So the first supply that I want to talk about is paper, because of course you can't have scrapbooking without paper. So I've split it up into two sets of paper. One is the cardstock, the white cardstock that I use. Now I do kind of like a hybrid of scrapbooking, so I do like traditional printed everything, but I do use a lot of digitals. And so I have 3 cardstocks that I use for my scrapbooking. The first one is the 12 by 12 American Crafts textured white cardstock. This is what I use to do all of my layouts. I use this cardstock. I have like a big pile of it. I love this cardstock. I actually really like the texture. It adds another element to the layouts, and so I love using this for my layouts. The other 2 cardstocks that I use are from Michaels. They're the Recollections brand cardstock, and one of them is the 65-pound card, and the other one is the 110-pound card. So the 110-pound card is a lot thicker, and I primarily use that to print and cut journaling cards, die cuts, and ephemera pieces like that. For the 65-pound, I tend to use that one to print out paper. And so the 65-pound is actually about the same weight as if you get a 12 by 12 cardstock, like paper from like American Crafts line, like crepe paper or whatever. It's about that. So I use that to print out the digital papers, because it's this kind of the same weight as the papers that you would get if you go and buy it at a scrapbooking store. And so those are the 3 white cardstocks that I use. Then the rest of the paper is pattern paper. I do use specific brands, and so I stick to 3 brands pretty much. And those are crepe paper. So anything crepe paper, Maggie Holmes, I absolutely love. Felicity Jane, and I'm not just saying this because I'm on the creative team. I actually, before that, would stick to Felicity Jane papers as well. It's just the colors, the designs, it just fits in really well with my aesthetic. And the last one is Cocoa Vanilla Studio, because, oh my god, when I can get my hands on it, because it is from Australia, the collections are so beautiful and the papers are so pretty. And so those are the 3 brands that I tend to stick to when it comes to buying physical pattern paper. Digitals is a different story. Like, my go-to scrapbooking for digital is AC Digital's Felicity Jane and Seuss Fish's shop. I really love her colors, love printing out her pattern papers. It's just so pretty. Next, I want to talk about adhesives. And so you can't scrapbook without glue or adhesive. So I'm going to just go over my go-to adhesive. So my favorite type of adhesive is dry adhesive. I solely use now double-sided tape. My favorite double-sided tape is the Score tape. Love Score tape. Score tape is really expensive though, and so I did find like comparable alternatives to Score tape when I can't find it for cheap, and those are the Scrapbook.com brand double-sided tape and Scrappy tape. And so my favorite double-sided tape is the 1/2 inch. I love the 1/2 inch. It's like perfect. I do use the 1/4 inch as well. Those are my 2 sizes when it comes to double-sided tape. Score tape comes in like all those sizes, and so I tend to use those 2 sizes. Scrappy tape also comes in those 2 sizes, and what I love about Scrappy tape is that it's like the quality is just as good as Score tape, and it's a lot cheaper. And so when I can find Scrappy tape, I tend to get it. And the Scrapbook.com double-sided tape is actually really, really good. The only problem with that is they don't come in the 1/2 inch that I like. They only come in the 1/4 inch and the 3/4 inch, and then 1 inch, 2 inch, and so on. I tend to get maybe like the 1/4 inch from Scrapbook.com, but my go-to is the 1/2 inch. The other adhesive that I really like are these Zig glue pens. They're in like a pen form, and they're perfect to kind of glue down those tiny little ephemera pieces. It's amazing. So I tend to stock up on those as well. And then the other 2 adhesives that I want to mention are just a regular glue stick. I've been using the Yoo-Hoo glue sticks. It's really good adhesive and I like it. And the other one is kind of like a more heavy duty Adhesive, I used to use E6000, but I've since switched to Fabrifix, which is a fabric adhesive. It works well on fabric, on paper, on really anything, and so I tend to use that now. Next, I want to talk about tools. And so I use a couple of tools here, not that many. I'm not big on like punches and dies and all kinds of stuff, just the simple tools that I use. My favorite by far are these lovely mint green scissors. These are the American Crafts cut up scissors. I got the ones that are in mint green, of course, but I think they come in like kind of reddish color and gold or whatever. I have a couple of these. Those are my go-to. The other tools I want to talk about are mini staplers. And so I've actually fallen in love with mini staplers. They're so handy when you're building up a cluster and you don't want to like glue everything down or double-sided tape everything down. You can just clump them up and put a staple through them. And so the two that I have are the Tim Holtz tiny attacher, which creates these tiny little staples, and the other one is the Heidi Swap mini stapler. And the Heidi Swap mini stapler, I believe, takes number 10 staples, so they're a tiny bit bigger than the tiny attacher staples. But it's basically the same if you have a one of those little American Crafts mini staplers. Those take number 10 too, so those are interchangeable with the Heidi Swap stapler. But those are my two go-to staplers. You can see the difference. The Heidi Swap one is much smaller than the tiny attacher, which makes it perfect for traveling if you are traveling and documenting on the go. My other go-to I want to talk about is the We Are Memory Keepers Power Punch. So I have this one. This is a really old one. This is the one with the bright green handle, but now it comes in a very cute We Are Memory Keepers teal color handle, but it's the same punch. I think the hole punch that it hole punches is a 1/4 inch. It is I guess the standard hole, and I use this to punch all of my stuff that goes into planners or goes into my note to self binder, or anything that I'm using that's a ring system. I will use that punch. It punches through everything. I've used it to punch through chipboard and like thick wood veneer, and it's a breeze. It's such a breeze. I love that power punch. Then I have a little corner rounder, so if I ever wanted to round my corners, I use this little one from EK Success. I don't know where you can find this. I think I bought mine at Target a long time ago. It came in a set of 2 corner rounders, so they're just these tiny little punches. They nestle really well, like stacking on top of each other, and I tend to use them as my corner rounders. They're 2 different sizes. One I think is like a 1/4 inch and the other one's a 1/2 inch or something like that. So you can get different rounded corners with those 2 punches. Then I want to talk about stamping. So I'm not a very big stamper. The only stamp that I probably use all the time is a date stamp. My current favorite is the one from Felicity Jane, but I also do love the Heidi Swap date stamp. But yeah, date stamps, that's probably my go-to stamp. And then my go-to ink is the Jet Black Stays On ink. It stamps on everything. And last I want to talk about is ephemera, or just other paper type pieces that I use to layer things behind my photos and stuff, just to build up a layout or a page. I really love anything glacine, anything tissue paper like, just the crinkliness. It just adds a lot of texture and dimension when you layer it behind your pattern papers and your photos. And so glacine bags and tissue papers are my favorite. Neutral, I tend to stick with white all the time for these clusters. Sometimes for the tissue paper I might do like a pastel color, but for the most part I stick to white. Also, a great layering piece are doilies. So I think almost every spread, every layout that I've ever done has a doily. Again, white doilies are my favorite. I tend to pick them up wherever I am. And so my favorites used to be the ones that Michaels made, the Recollections brand, but they no longer make those. I can't find them at my Michaels anymore, but I love those. They were like 4.5 inches in diameter. I also like the little doodle bug ones. They're like 2 inches. They're really small. Bo Bunny created a few, but like you can barely find these doilies anymore. So really any time that I'm at Hobby Lobby or like a different shop and I see a packet of white doilies, I just buy them just to try them out. I just run through white doilies so fast. They're in everything. They're great layering pieces. They're literally my go-to for like anything, for junk journals, for art journals, for scrapbooking, just any project. I love me some white doilies. And then I have here some ephemera. So like everyone loves ephemera. Ephemera packs, die cut packs, they're just the best. I like using smaller ephemera pieces. The bigger ones are very hard to kind of layer on a layout, or I tend to work really small, so the big ones tend to be too big. But of course I use my digitals. I like printing and cutting on my silhouette a lot. The AC digitals that I get, the Stu's Fish digitals I get, the Felicity Jane ones, I can resize the ephemera pieces to the sizes that I want, but I tend to prefer smaller sized ephemera because it's easier to, again, layer on these smaller projects that I use. And I just want to briefly end it here that I do use stickers. I have plenty of stickers. I have, enamel dots, I have puffy stickers, I have chipboard, but I realized that I don't tend to reach for those things as often. The enamel dots, I do. I use enamel dots or like tiny little puffy stickers a lot for like embellishing a page, for like finishing off a layout or a spread, but I don't automatically reach for my stickers, and I have plenty of stickers. So what I shared was just a nice overview of my go-to supplies, because I have a lot of supplies, we all have a lot of supplies, but these are the ones that I notice that I reach for first when making a spread. And it's not a lot. When you see everything laid out, it really isn't a whole lot of supplies that I use, but these are the ones that I keep coming back to. And so I will leave links down below to hopefully all of the supplies that I've shared, all of the actual links to like the punches and stuff that I've shared, but I'm also going to leave a link to a page on my website. It's called Shop My Favorites, and it's literally where I list out all of the things, like all links to like all the shops that I get everything from. This includes journaling, like if you want to look for some fabric or wallpaper or whatever, I have those links there, but I do have all of the scrapbooking links there, have all the shops that I tend to shop at, all the brands that I tend to buy from, and then I have a nice little gallery of products that I either own or have on my wish list from scrapbook.com there. And so if you ever want to figure out where I get something or what I use for what, I have that page. It's a resource there because I get questions all the time of like what are my favorite scrapbooking supplies, or where do I get my papers, or where did I get this. I try to leave all the links in the description box down below, so be sure to check those out. But a lot of that information is on that page on my website, so I'll leave that link down below. I do want to say and leave a disclaimer that a lot of these links to some different shops are affiliate links, like my Felicity Jane links, my scrapbook.com links, and my A Cherry on Top links. They are all affiliate links, so if you do purchase anything through these links, I do get a small commission, but it just helps me to make more videos like this for you. So I really hope you enjoyed this video. It's been a long time coming. I know someone requested it a while ago, but I wanted to do it right. I wanted to slim down my selection to show you exactly what my go-to supplies are, and I think I did a pretty good job considering all the stuff that I have. But if you have any questions at all for like any supply or anything that I use, please ask it down below and I will get back to you. So yeah, friends, thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you next time. Bye!